what's up everyone? Welcome back to T's Time. I'm TJ. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to do our front brake overhaul on Percy the van here. It's a 2008 Freightliner MT-45. So I'm going to show you how to actually change or replace all this stuff if we need to do that. And what's prompting this video is I believe the front rotor on the driver's side is warped. When you come to a stop, it has like that pulsating like feel like when you're coming to a stop. So I'm going to show you how to check to see if it's actually warped and if it needs to be replaced. And if it does need to be replaced, I'm going to replace the rotors, the pads, and since I have to take off the rotor from the hub, I'm going to replace the inner outer bearings and races, and then also the wheel seals. So we're going to get all that replaced, and along with our caliper hardware, brake pads of course. So stay tuned and enjoy. I'm going to show you actually how to like check. We're not just replacing stuff pointlessly. We're actually replacing stuff that's an issue, and that I see that's an issue or is going to cause an issue. So stay tuned, enjoy. All right, make sure your wheels are chalked. You have it in park. If you have a manual transmission, make sure it's like in reverse or first gear or something. You want your vehicle rolling on you. And I'm gonna use the wood right here just to keep it, in case like it does slip off, it has something to catch itself on. And I'm gonna leave a little bit of a gap. So there's some give when you lower it, so it still comes out. You want it just high enough so your wheel spins freely. Like so. Get your wheel off. And depending on your lug nuts, when you have like these corner ones that go into like the rim itself, usually on the left side of the vehicle, the reverse thread. So righty-tighty doesn't apply here. It's a reverse thread, so you will go right to loosen it. You have to remove this hub cover right here. And then also the caliper is gonna have to come off. 1, 2, and the new hardware will take care of this. So we're replacing all of that, and then check in between here, inspect your brake pads for the thickness of it. But before we do that, I'm gonna check the run out, because I started on this side. This is the left side that I believe is why where the rotor is warped, where you get like that pulsation. Like you're coming to a stop, it feels like it's skipping, or kind of like ABS is grabbing. So we're gonna check our run out on our rotor just to confirm if it's warped or not. I think it's is it 5/1000ths of an inch is like where you need to like turn it down, like turning meaning like flatten it. If it's within spec, like if there's enough like material left for you to do that. But like I'm just gonna replace it. The other side I think was already like turned, so I'm gonna replace both. But I think this is my problem one. You can kind of see like the hot spots, like the discoloration. Like especially like right within here, like the rust material. So let me show you how to check that real quick. I'm gonna get my dial gauge, we're gonna get that set up, and we're gonna check for the run out to see if it's actually working. It's a dial gauge. It has a magnet base, so I'm using the rotor to keep that in place. We have that against the rotor. We turn it on. We zero that out. like so, and then you just spin. And as you can see, as it's moving, the highest spot is that 8th thou right there. And that's that area right there where it's discolored. And even like that's the max right there is 5. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this. So it is warped. We're gonna replace, and then we're gonna also do our brake pads and our new hardware and everything also. So while you're in there, get everything up to par maintenance wise, so you don't have to do it again while you're in there. You might as well. So let me get that stuff set up. We're gonna keep breaking this down. We're gonna get this swapped over, and we're gonna be finished. This is the lock. One there, and then one down here. Clean all that grease out. This is the rear race right here. We're gonna have to pull that out. And then there's a front one also. We have to get that out, but you wanna get all that old grease, get that out. Those are the bolts holding the rotor on. There's 6 of them. We're gonna remove those right now. That's a 28 millimeter. All right, now I have all the old grease cleaned out, and if you could see those lips, those are the races that I have to punch out. So we have to do the smaller one and then the bigger one on the outside. I'm going to start with this one, the top one. I don't know if you can actually pick that up, but right there, that's a race that's come out. I might be able to actually use a wheel bearing press to get that one out, but I don't have anything that could fit in behind this larger one. This is the inner race, this top one right here. So I'm going to start with that one. Flip this over. I'm going to use some wood right there so I don't like mess up this surface right here. And then I'm just going to hopefully bang it out. So that's where we're at right now. And that's gonna pull it going towards the outside. So that's the outside race that we're removing right now. And that's one race. That's the outer. So the punch isn't working out too well, trying to beat it out from the backside. So this is for wheel bearing removal, like so. So what I plan on doing, I'm gonna shave the edges down on the side, so that way it could fit down in between, and I could pull it up like so from the backside, and we could get this pulled out through the front. So I'm gonna take the grinder and probably just I'm gonna take the grinder and grind this down, or even just cut off like a little bit of a chunk. So this will still work for removing wheel bearings, but then also I'll be able to take out bearing races if need be in the future. So it doesn't need to take off too much, probably like 2 millimeters or a millimeter or so. And also you have to take it for account. There is like a little lip back there, so it can't be like too wide. So it should fit back there perfect, and pull that out. So let me get the grinder out, and I'm gonna go outside. For this to fit, it needs to be 79.7 millimeters wide. Right now, it is like 81.4. So 2 millimeters off of this right here should be able to fit in between the race, and I could be able to grab it from the back side. So glove up, mask up. Keep going. So 79.4, it should fit. Let's see. And bada boom, bada bing, it fits in there. So we're good. It's probably hot. And this is from my hook puller set. Like so. And this is what I've set up. Hopefully there's enough bite to get that out. JM207010 Timken. That's the inner race that's installed. When you're banging it, you just want it to seat. There's like a seat where it sits in. You want that all the way flat. You want it flush. You don't want it crooked. So that's in. You'll hear like a difference in the tone, like when you're banging it in. If you're banging it in, if you're not using it like a press. But just make sure it goes in straight. Like once you get it started, then you could just go ahead and start banging it in. Use the old race to get that in. And now we got to do the same thing for the other side. Torque to 260. I'm using the tire to hold this still, and I have this torque wrench, and I'm using this for extra leverage. You want these bolts torqued to 260 foot-pounds. So I'm just verifying that. This is the last one after torque, and the rotor will be mounted to the hub. And then we can go ahead and start reassembling our wheel bearings and get everything put on and be done. Like so, like that. But this is all torqued. and bada boom, bada bing. It's in, it's installed, it's finished, it's complete. I just still have to torque that wheel. I'm gonna put it on the ground and torque that. Make sure you torque the important nuts to spec. The axle nut, and actually use a dial indicator to check your radial, your run out for the wheel hub. You don't want that to just be like cranked as tight as possible, because you need that bearing to be able to move. So it sets for 1 to 5 thousandths of an inch, and it has that. It's good to go. But double check for your vehicle. If that's not correct, you could burn up your bearings, or worst case scenario, your wheel goes flying. So that's nothing to play with. That's probably the most important part of the whole thing, is just like that. And the brake pads, they're pretty self-explanatory. Put them on, re-grease everything, clean everything up, and also torque all that stuff to spec. And just be safe when you're lifting your vehicle. You don't want your vehicle to fall on you. Yeah, that, and you don't want wheels falling off. So that was it. We're gonna get this running eventually. We're working on it. We're getting there, slowly but surely, one day at a time. So with that being said, I'll catch you next Wednesday. So until next Wednesday, it's okay to put the brakes on in this instant gratification world. Take a break if you need it. Peace, TJ.